It's our pleasure now to welcome back to the show Rob Lees from Mortgage Choice in Blaxland, Penrith and Glenmore Park. He's taking over the mountains, this man.
Well, there's actually only one office in the mountains, though. The other two are down the bottom of the hill. But anyway.
Well, you're taking over the region then.
Yeah, well, not quite. We've got some other big mortgage brokers out there as well, haven't we, Peter?
Well, I love the fact that we actually work next door to each other now down in the Riff. It's
That's
pretty
right.
cool.
That's right.
So welcome back to the show, Rob. Today you thought it'd be a good idea to talk about car finance, which is quite interesting when you're called Mortgage Choice and you predominantly do mortgages, so you can do car finance too.
Yeah, we can do anything financial. So
as long as it's
car
legal.
Loans, as long as it's legal. Thanks for that, Catherine.
I
Yes.
just thought I'd put that bit in.
That's right. That's right.
Your marijuana crop does not.
I told you that in confidence, but yeah.
Not as a business?
No.
Business
well,
loan?
Though they may get through in the future.
Well, that's quite
That's a
possible.
topic for another
that's another
day.
story. But yeah, look, we do car loans, asset finance, commercial loans, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I do probably a couple of car loans a month. So it's a discussion we often have. And the other thing that happens a lot is consolidating car loans, and there's reasons for that too. And that's probably some of the stuff that I'd like to talk about. I
Yeah.
suppose.
So what's the best way to finance the cost of purchasing a car?
Okay. I think it depends on the purpose. So if you're buying it for personal use, I would always say if you have cash, use your cash.
Yep.
You don't need a loan. But if you don't have the cash, you will need a loan. And you could either get that as a specific purpose car loan, or it might be a cash out through your mortgage, through your home loan. Mm-hmm. But there's a few cautions about that I might talk about in a minute. If the purpose of the vehicle is business use, so you're going to get in your business name using an ABN, it probably is more advantageous, even if you have the cash, to get a car loan, because the interest is going to be deductible. There's a whole lot of reasons why it's better to have it within the business, because you can claim back the GST and depreciate the vehicle and all that kind of stuff. So that's probably the preference. The only problem with structuring a car within... my phone's just gone out there. Where'd that come from?
You're still on air. It's all good.
I've just lost feedback there. There we go.
That's all right.
I can give you some feedback. You're doing a great job.
I think I've pulled a plug out somewhere.
That's
It's
all
all
right.
right.
It's
There's
gone.
plugs everywhere here at the moment.
I can work with that. So the only problem with structuring the car loan within a home loan is that you're actually financing an asset that's only going to last 5 to 10 years and paying it off over a 30-year period. And so that's something that people need to be aware of.
What about the fact that you may not want a new car? Can you also finance second-hand cars?
Yeah, I think we've got a question there.
Yeah.
Right. So we can, as
Look
a
at
matter of
that.
fact.
She hasn't
Yes,
even
we
seen the
can.
brief.
Yes, we can. So you can get loans for used vehicles. Normally the finances will add a little, like a 0.5% to the interest rate for used vehicles.
Okay,
and
why
we
would
can,
that be?
Just because there's a little more risk in that. And they'll also add another 0.5% if it's a private sale. So we've done asset finances or vehicle finances through private vendors. And part of that process is we need to site the asset, do an inspection, although that isn't a mechanical. If most people that know me heard I was doing a vehicle inspection, they'd laugh, because all I can do is I can site the vehicle and make sure there's no dings and check the tyres and the odometer reading, and that's about it. Don't put me under the engine.
Yeah, because we've actually, when we've sold race cars, people that
right.
have bought it have done it through finance.
Yep.
And the finance company actually wanted a mechanical report beforehand.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. So normally they wouldn't for normal cars. It's really just to make sure that
I guess it depends how much
vehicle
you're financing
exists.
and the risk, doesn't it, to the
Well,
bank?
and also, the type of car. I mean, these are performance sort of vehicles that
that's
you
right.
raise.
Yeah.
and
So
that's
there's probably a nice
a
price
very
tag attached to
specific
it.
kind of loan product for racing cars. So most of the ones I do, they wouldn't be financing racing cars.
So what about, I'm just going to throw this question in as a different spin for you, a novated lease that people can get through their work.
Yes.
Is that something that they can talk to you about?
I wanted to chat about that one.
Oh.
They certainly can, and I'd actually suggest a lot of caution about getting novated leases. I'm opposed to them. I don't think there's any real benefit. I think the benefits are outweighed by the disadvantages, possible disadvantages. My problem with novated leases, and just to explain what a novated lease is, a novated lease is where the responsibility for servicing that loan is novated to the employer. So if you buy the vehicle through a novated lease, the employer will take a pre-tax deduction, normally through its salary sacrificing, for the finance and the maintenance costs. And then because there's fringe benefits tax that applies, there's a post-tax deduction for the fringe benefits tax component. Now, the reason why I don't like it, number one, it used to be much better when the fringe benefits tax could be as low as only 7%. And now it's 20%. So a lot of that benefit is eaten away. There's still quite a bit of tax involved. The second thing I don't like about it is that there's, being a commercial loan contract, the packaging companies are able to add on an awful lot of brokerage that doesn't have to be disclosed, being a commercial contract. So there's a lot of hidden costs, and while the brief they give you looks really good, you don't see the costs. And I've gone back with clients, I've calculated, I've had packaging companies taking out about $3,500 for a $40,000 car or something like that. So it's massive. The third thing I don't like is the fact that it looks good, the maintenance is covered. If it's a new vehicle, you're not going to have a lot of maintenance costs, and you lose control over that. They take out more than you need, and it's banked up and all that sort of thing. But isn't it better for you to have the use of the cash rather than the packaging company? And the fourth thing I don't like about novated leases, and I'll finish on number 4, is it limits your borrowing capacity.
Yes.
So just recently I've had a lot of clients where I've had to recommend that they actually pay out the finance lease and consolidate into their home loan so that they can get the borrowing that they desire to buy an investment property or whatever it is. Because the lender's going to take the pre-tax and the post-tax deduction and calculate that as an ongoing commitment in working out your borrowing capacity, and it usually is going to quite significantly limit it.
Yeah. So what are our other options outside of a novated lease, like a chattel mortgage or personal loan?
Yes, let's go for number 5.
I can add number 5, which is the balloon payment at the end.
Yeah,
that people don't seem to think.
I don't have as big a problem with the balloon payment. So what I would say, so that is something people need to be very much aware of.
Because they think after the 5 year, like however long, that they actually own this vehicle. And they don't get the concept
so you can actually refinance the balloon. The advantage of the balloon, and again, a balloon payment's only available on a commercial lease. So it's a novated lease, or if you're buying it in your business, the advantage of it is it minimises your cash commitment. But at the end of that term, you've either got to sell the vehicle, pay out the lease with a lump sum, or you can refinance the residual. For a business, I think it's better because it minimises the cash commitment. And in fact, if you were to calculate the difference between financing a new vehicle with a residual balloon and a used vehicle, which would cost you less, the actual repayments are about the same. So for a business, you're actually better off buying a new vehicle, and your payments are probably going to be the same if you structure it with the residual balloon. The main thing, I think, Catherine, is just that people are aware of that.
Well, and particularly not those not maybe in business but that are doing it.
You can't get, or they don't like doing.
They don't like it, but there's
residual
a few
balloons on consumer loans. They shouldn't be done on consumer loans.
But then there's an option to say still have a chattel mortgage and then without a balloon, which is that's the way I buy my cars.
You don't have to. You don't have to, but
because then I own them at the end, and I like that.
But my question is, why do you really need to own the vehicle?
Yeah,
there's no point. It's an expense.
They're like dishwashers now.
Well,
it costs money to have a vehicle, so you don't really, my opinion, I don't think you need to own them, but it's trying to minimise. This is how I see it. Minimise the monthly cost of holding a vehicle, and
they depreciate so quickly.
They do,
and that's why I'll always buy it with a residual balloon, and it's more about the cash. The monthly cash commitment and trying to minimise that.
I guess the thing that you got to be careful of
with go new and still have the same repayments, Catherine.
Yeah, but as soon as you drive it out,
but again, if you're looking at and that's how I look. If you're looking at I've got to have a vehicle, and I want to minimise my monthly cash commitment, and if you can have a new vehicle for the same monthly cash commitment, why not?
I think that the key is to make sure your balloon's not too great at the end, because you want to make sure that
a little more conservative.
you just, so again, it's, good advice to actually
Absolutely.
speak to someone and see how that's going to work out for you, because the last thing you want to be is end up with a $5,000 asset and a $10,000 balloon because you're in
and
negative.
That can happen if you don't go conservative on the balloon. And I guess my message in all this, hey, when it comes to your car finance, don't just go to the dealer.
Yes.
Because they're trying to sell you the car and sell you the loan. Get some advice, because what you do as far as your car loan is going to impact everything else. And, people like me, other brokers, we can advise you on all of that. And it's probably better to have the right car loan there, ready to go, like you do when you buy a house. Go to the dealer, negotiate as a cash customer, and focus more particularly on getting the best price for your vehicle, rather than kind of just signing the first loan that comes along because you're emotionally connected and you really want to get that car ASAP.
Well, I also think people don't see their lives as complicated anymore. It's only a car loan, but, it's not that just anymore. Like, the impact it then has if you want to go and buy an investment or do something else can be really great. And I think it's seeing that interconnectivity that people miss.
I think that's it, and that's where we come in, mortgage brokers. We can look at the big picture for you.
Exactly.
And I think that's the key too, Rob, that you've identified, is that if you're in the market to buy a new car, you've told us a number of options. There's a novated lease, there's the unsecured personal loan, there's a lease, there's a chattel mortgage. There's a number of different options that you can use to buy that. So the best place to start would be having a chat with your mortgage broker and try and identify what option is the best option for you. And
it really just depends on your goals and objectives as to which way is the best way to go for you.
Yeah. Great advice as always, Rob. So if anyone was thinking about they don't need to necessarily be a customer, I'm sure, of Mortgage Choice. If they're just in the market for a car loan,
talk to us.
They could give you a call.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. 4739 9749.
Perfect. And as we mentioned at the start of the show, Rob's got offices at Blaxland, Penrith and also Glenmore Park. So there's you look after a wide spread, so I'm sure you've got someone there that can help them out.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.